everybody. Welcome to the Fired Up with CJ show. We have Eileen Smith here, and we are part two talking about moving beyond trauma. Specifically, now we're in COVID. We've had 5 or 6 months, um, or whenever you had said in the first segment, it's when we feel a sense of safety that we can move on. And right now we're in this sustained period of not feeling safe. And we're talking about maybe some of the repercussions of that. So, and the effect on the body. So, are there things that we can do now? Like, okay, we know that this is true. Our body is sustaining a lot. So, are there practices that we can do with our body now, knowing that it is getting traumatized, so we can create a sense of safety, even though we feel like there's external threats with COVID and our job? Like, can you show us some ways that we could do that
Yeah,
now?
and it's a really good question because there are, this is a time where because we're so uncomfortable, all we want to do is disconnect, right? And
Right.
no joke, this COVID-15, right? The weight thing that people talk about, this,
Yes.
it's real because people are trying to find some way to sedate themselves or numb out
Hmm.
or not feel whatever they're feeling and feeling all the anxiety. So I'd say the work is always about getting back into the body and staying connected with the body. So everybody has different ways that they connect with to get into the body. So one person might do some meditation, another person might do breath work, maybe there's movement. I think during this whole pandemic, I mean, we've seen bicycle sales increase. Like you can't even get a bicycle, right? There's it's like a hot commodity right now.
Yes.
If people are trying to find some ways also to regulate their nervous systems and to get some sense of reprieve from the discomfort that they're feeling. So I would say it's movement, it's breath work, it's meditation. But anything that's going to help you reconnect to your body is going to be helpful right now.
Right. You're discharging all of that like nervous and
All that
anxious
energy
thoughts.
and also being able to reconnect to and ground yourself in your being rather than looking for all these external ways to numb yourself out. I mean, look, they said
Hmm.
alcohol sales have been up an exponential amount. I don't know what the numbers are, but
Mm.
um, it's because our nervous systems, when we feel traumatized, our nervous systems get dysregulated.
Mm.
So all
Mm.
you're seeing, all the behaviors, like I was saying in this first segment that we started talking about, the behaviors are going to manifest in 1,000 different ways: anxiety, depression, alcoholism, porn, whatever it is. And they're just ways they're maladaptive ways to try to regulate the nervous system. So what I'm suggesting is, okay, can we do some preventative care and start doing the things that are going to help us regulate our nervous system so we're not totally derailed during this time.
And I think some people would say, yes, I'm stressed, but I'm dealing with it. But they're really not dealing with it. So there's a sense of
I'm
denial.
telling you, can I have 4 more vodkas, please, before 5 o'clock?
That what? Sorry, say that
Can I
again.
have 4 more vodkas before
Yeah.
5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, like I'm fine, and you're drinking your vodka tonic. So, I mean, is it safe to say that, we're all going through our survival instinct is getting triggered, whether you acknowledge it or not, it's
Happening.
most likely happening.
Happening.
So finding some way of discharging, because I think that we're in this kind of I'm tough and rough, I'm an American, I'm just going to grit through this, I'm fine, I worry about everyone else, but I'm fine. So this kind of denial that we are having a problem, I think could be the thing that gets us to drinking the vodka tonics.
Right.
So I mean, what's a way to normalize it so that it's not like, okay, yeah, all of us are feeling this. So like, don't feel shame and feeling like you're having a rough time. I mean, what are you telling your clients or?
I would say this, and I think that this is also a big piece of staying out of the trauma vortex around this, is staying connected to other people.
Hmm.
And that because it's so easy during this time to isolate.
Hmm.
And so, but we are by nature, we are pack animals. We need
Hmm.
connection. And connection at this right now for it in when you're in survival is your lifeline. It's
Mm.
how you're going to build resilience. Your connection is your resourcing. Your connection is the thing that's going to keep you alive. So I think it's connection and doing work to stay in your body.
So even if you're like, I'm fine, I'm fine. Okay, still do yoga, still meditate. And and
It's
I
never
think
going to hurt you.
yeah, and I think actually maybe even tuning in to whatever emotional thing that you're running away from when you grab the vodka tonic. Because there is probably, like the other day, I was like just yelling at my husband that he was angry at me, which is hilarious, right? It's like
That's really
clearly I'm angry because I'm yelling at my husband for being angry. Like, how ridiculous. Like, I'm shifting him being angry, but it's not me that's being angry. So, and I tuned in. I'm like, yeah, I am angry. So and I went and I said, I'm sorry. I realize that I'm angry and I'm angry at these things and I'm not angry at you. And I can see how I just projected my anger onto you, even though that wasn't the case. And it's the kind of stuffing down emotions because we don't want to feel sad or mad or upset or disappointed. So we just stuff them all in. So I can see that connecting to your body, because your body will tell you, right? I mean, how
body
does,
never lies. It never
yeah,
lies.
how does the body talk to you? So you're like, oh yeah, you're like, if your mind isn't, if you're not conscious of your anger and your fear and your, hopelessness, how does your body tell you that that's happening, regardless of you knowing in your head?
I think that our body, like I think there's always, things can manifest physically or things can manifest in our behaviors.
Hmm.
So, like you said, what happened the other day, right? You were sort of acting out.
Yeah.
And so that's a indication that something is not aligned
Hmm.
with you. So I think what one of the things that you're saying is really important here, that naming it, being able to just name the experience rather than trying to fix it. And
Hmm.
I tell this to my clients. This is a very big piece of the early part of the work that I do with clients. I'm like, just notice. Like, what would it be like not to try to solve it or fix it, but to just notice and be with it? And when you can become your own observer, you're one step closer to becoming more present.
Hmm.
And that's really the goal, right? Is to be able to be present and be able to tolerate where you are at any present moment.
So I have my family and or friends are all having physical issues, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
my back hurts. Like my and I don't know whether it's because, my poor kids are sitting at the computer all day, taking classes online in college, and then after they take the classes online, they're sitting at their chair, then doing the literally hours and hours of homework online. So, like, my son is feeling, pain in his back, understandably, but then I was wondering, like, I wonder if there's an emotional component to it too.
Yeah. Well, and think about how much constriction there is in our lives, right? So all our muscles are tighter if we're not
Yeah.
taking care of our bodies. So, yeah, maybe from sitting, sure, but also the emotional constriction of where our lives are
Hmm. Right. Like he's having to stuff everything in. It's like, yes, this is my college experience, being
right now.
online like 10
Yeah.
hours a
That's really
day.
exciting, right? Oh, I know. I feel so bad for these kids.
I know the kids I feel the worst for is that, their whole, they had to grow up really fast, and face like the challenges of and uncertainty of life at a very early age. Um, okay, so there's basically it's finding ways to discharge. You may think I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, but you'll probably, if you're finding yourself snapping or your body hurts, probably
There's some stuff
there's
going on. Yeah.
yeah, there's some stuff going on. Okay, so let's actually in the next segment talk about how we would dialogue with our body or with the kinds of things that you do so that we can actually heal the trauma that we have in our body. We've been talking to Ilene Smith, and we've been talking about her book, Moving Beyond Trauma. Thank you so much.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.